Naomi Anna Carter, black twin sisters on a humble farm, carried dignity in every step of their morning chores. But the peace shattered when Chase Whitmore and his gang of bullies attacked Naya, cruel boys from powerful families who mocked their heritage and treated her like dirt. They believed she was nothing more than a weak farm girl, too timid to resist. What they didn't realize was that Naomi, her twin, was no victim. She was a ruthless Jiu Jitsu fighter shaped by years of secret training. Chase and his gang thought they were untouchable, but their attack had set justice in motion, and vengeance was coming. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. The morning sun painted long shadows across the Carter farm as roosters announced the dawn. Naomi and Naya moved through their daily routine, the metal feed buckets clanking against their legs as they walked. Their overalls were worn but clean, patched in places but worn with dignity. "Here, chicks," Naya called softly, scattering feed in wide arcs. The hens clucked and pecked around her feet, their feathers catching the early light. Despite the hard work, she smiled at their eager movements. Naomi worked alongside her sister, her movements more purposeful and quick. Her dark eyes constantly scanned their surroundings, a habit born from years of staying alert. The twins moved in perfect sync, knowing each other's rhythms after 17 years of sharing every moment. In the nearby field, Grandma Rose's silhouette stood strong against the horizon. Her weathered hands moved through the crops with practiced ease, checking leaves and testing soil. She hummed an old spiritual as she worked, the sound carrying faintly across the morning air. "Land's looking good this season," Naomi said, pride evident in her voice. Their small farm might not match the vast estates of their wealthy neighbors, but every inch was tended with love and determination. Naya nodded, brushing dirt from her knees. "The tomatoes are coming in real nice. Grandma's special fertilizer mix is working wonders." The peaceful moment shattered when voices carried from the road. Harsh laughter and the rumble of an expensive truck engine broke through the morning quiet. "Hey, farm trash!" Chase Whitmore's voice rang out, full of entitled mockery. "Still playing in the dirt?" Cal Bennett's deeper voice joined in. "Look at that sad excuse for a farm. My daddy says it's an embarrassment to the whole county." Naomi's hands tightened on her feed bucket, knuckles white against the metal. Her jaw clenched, and Naya could see the muscle working there as her twin fought to contain her anger. "Just ignore them," Naya whispered, touching her sister's arm. "They're not worth it." But Chase wasn't finished. "Better enjoy it while you can. Won't be long before this dump gets what's coming to it." Naomi took a step toward the road, but Grandma Rose's voice cut through the tension. "Girls, these beans need checking." The twins watched as the truck roared past, kicking up dust that settled on their freshly hung laundry. Chase's laughter faded into the distance, leaving behind a bitter taste in the air. "I hate them," Naomi muttered, her voice low and fierce. "Acting like they own everything just because their daddies have money." "Hate's a heavy thing to carry," Grandma Rose said, appearing beside them. Despite her age, she moved quietly like a ghost through her beloved fields. "Better to focus on what needs doing." The old woman's face was lined with years of similar confrontations, but her eyes remained bright and determined. She adjusted her worn sun hat and gestured to their morning tasks. They worked in silence for a while, each lost in their own thoughts. The chickens scratched contentedly, oblivious to the human drama around them. The morning dew dried slowly from the leaves as the sun climbed higher. "The summer squash is ready," Naya said, trying to lift the mood. "And those heritage tomatoes you planted, Grandma, they're beautiful." Grandma Rose nodded, satisfaction evident in her smile. "Your grandfather would be proud. He always said this land had good bones, just needed the right kind of love." "And the right kind of stubborn," Naomi added, managing a small smile despite her lingering anger. They continued their morning tasks, checking the irrigation lines, pulling weeds that dare to sprout overnight, and tending to their small but precious herd of goats. The farm might be modest compared to the sprawling operations around them, but it was theirs, paid for with generations of sweat and determination. As the morning wore on, Naya began gathering vegetables for their regular deliveries to local customers. She selected each piece carefully, arranging them in her grandmother's old delivery basket. Firm tomatoes, crisp lettuce, tender squash, and fragrant herbs. These will make Mrs. Johnson happy, she said, holding up a particularly perfect tomato. She's been waiting for them to come in. Just be quick about the deliveries today, Grandma Rose said, her voice carrying a note of concern that she tried to hide behind practical advice. Heat's coming up strong. Naomi watched her sister prepare the basket, her protective instincts warring with the need to finish her own chores. The morning's confrontation had left her uneasy, but she pushed down her worry. They couldn't let bullies like Chase and Kyle control their lives with fear. Naya hummed softly as she worked, carefully wrapping each bundle of herbs in damp paper to keep them fresh. Her gentle nature showed in how she handled each vegetable, treating their produce with the same care she wished the world would show to their family. The afternoon sun hung heavy in the Georgia sky as Naya made her way back to the barn, her delivery basket lighter after a day of dropping off produce. Sweat beaded on her forehead, and she paused to wipe it away with her sleeve. The old barn's weathered walls offered a promise of shade, and she headed toward it, looking forward to getting out of the heat. The crunch of gravel made her freeze. Through the thick summer air came the sound of multiple footsteps and low laughter. Her heart started hammering before she even turned around. "Well, look who we found." Chase Whitmore's voice dripped with mock sweetness. "The delivery girl." Naya clutched her basket tighter as Chase, Kyle, Travis, and Ethan emerged from behind the barn. They moved like wolves circling prey, spreading out to cut off her escape routes. The familiar taste of fear filled her mouth. I need to get back to work," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. She took a step backward, but the barn wall was already at her shoulders. "You need to learn something first," Chase said, closing the distance between them in 2 quick strides. His hand shot out, grabbing a fist of her shirt. The fabric twisted in his grip as he yanked her forward. "About knowing your place." His face was inches from hers now, eyes bright with cruel enjoyment. "You think you're so special with your organic vegetables and your fancy customers?" He slammed her back against the barn wall. The rough wood scraped through her shirt. "You're nothing but dirty farm trash." Kyle's massive form loomed beside Chase. With a savage grin, he knocked the basket from Naya's hands. The remaining vegetables scattered across the dirt, tomatoes bursting like wounds against the ground. "Oops," he laughed. "Guess nobody's getting their delivery today." "Get your phone out," Travis called to Ethan. "You'll want to record this." Ethan fumbled with his smartphone, nervous energy making his hands shake. But he was grinning too, caught up in the mob mentality. The camera's lens gleamed in the sunlight as he pointed it at Naya. "Please," Naya whispered, "just let me go." Chase's response was to shove her harder against the wall. The racial slur he spat made her flinch more than the physical pain. "Shut your mouth. You people need to learn you don't belong here." Travis circled around to her side, his thin face alive with anticipation. "Maybe we should teach her that lesson real good this time." Without warning, his foot shot out, catching Naya in the ribs. The impact drove the air from her lungs. She would have doubled over if Chase hadn't been holding her up. "Again," Chase commanded, and Travis obliged. Each kick sent waves of agony through Naya's body. She tried to protect herself, but Chase kept her pinned. Tears streamed down her face as Travis landed blow after blow. "Make sure you get this," Kyle called to Ethan, who adjusted his camera angle with shaking hands. "This is gonna look great online," Ethan said, his laugh high and nervous. The phone screen captured every moment of Naya's torment. The assault felt endless. When Chase finally released her shirt, Naya crumpled to the ground beside her ruined vegetables, Dirt and bruises covered her clothes, and every breath sent sharp pains through her ribs. Time blurred. She wasn't sure how long she laid there before familiar footsteps approached at a run. Naya! Naomi's voice cracked with horror. Oh God, Naya! Strong hands gently helped her sit up. Through tear-blurred eyes, Naya saw her sister's face transform from shock to rage. Naomi's hands trembled as they brushed dirt from Naya's face. Who did this? Naomi's voice was deadly quiet. Tell me, who did this to you? Naya could only shake her head, sobs racking her body. The pain from her ribs made it hard to speak. Around them, the ruined vegetables lay like casualties in the afternoon sun. Naomi pulled her sister close, careful of her injuries. But beneath